Let's freaking go! Power Hour SEC, our first live stream since what was a glorious night if you're an SEC football fan. Georgia versus TCU. That was the last time we did a live. So I'm going to do just an Arkansas live stream today. I am very excited that this channel has really blown up, if you will. We're not some massive, huge following channel of 10,000 subscribers, but I was really shocked how quickly we got over 1,000. And it was because mostly Arkansas fans like, subscribed, all that good stuff. So I'm just testing this out, see if you guys like it, or if you just like all the pre-recorded film studies and stuff like that we not only do with Arkansas, but what we do basically with all teams. So coming up, I'm actually going to bring in one of my favorite Arkansas Razorback experts, Jacob Scott Davis. He's going to hang out with us just for a little bit. And today I am going to give you a few thoughts on how I feel about Arkansas, especially if you look more so at some of the advanced numbers. Now, just to give you a little background on me, I've done radio in Arkansas before. I used to do the Carter Bryant show every single day. And Arkansas football was the main thing that we talked about. And we did baseball, basketball. But tonight, we're mostly just going to talk about football. And I loved it. I really did. And most of my friends ended up going to Fayetteville. So obviously, my background being in LSU and all that good stuff, and now throughout the rest of the SEC, it has been mostly Arkansas fans that has really taken this SEC channel to the next level. So obviously, really excited to do this tonight. If you guys have any questions, I will go straight to it, to the comment section. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I am the foremost Arkansas Razorback expert, but I will come at it from a different angle because I feel as if this team is very fascinating. So let's get to it. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about today is the KJ Jefferson hype. Now, look, I have actually gotten flack for my love for KJ Jefferson on the LSU channel just throughout the SEC. And at this point in time, I see these lists that don't have KJ Jefferson in their top 10. For me, I think KJ Jefferson is the third best quarterback in all of college football. I would only put at this point in time Jordan Travis and Caleb Williams ahead of KJ Jefferson. And I think Drake May probably is ahead of him, but strictly speaking, from a college quarterback perspective, we're not talking about the next level. We're not talking about the NFL. We're not talking about any of that. The fourth best quarterback, I think he's better than Drake May as a college quarterback, is KJ Jefferson. Now, what I'm going to do to start tonight is actually show you two different clips from last year. And you actually saw this in our Arkansas spring game film study, where there was a play that I think KJ Jefferson would like to have back. So what I want to do is share just a quick little excerpt here from KJ Jefferson's game versus Auburn last year. Now, this is what everyone knows him for, just passion. He's known for throughout college football, these types of runs. And what really made this run pretty iconic for me was I was in Jordan-Hare Stadium for when Cam Newton ran through an arm tackle of Patrick Peterson, my all-time favorite LSU and SEC defensive back, and scored a touchdown somewhat similar to that one. And Donovan Kaufman, a really good defensive back for Auburn. But what I want you to focus on here, even if you're not watching this live, but down the road, this is going to be the next step, not only as an Arkansas quarterback, but as an NFL quarterback. We get some good vertical action right here, and we get Arkansas's best deep threat, Matt Landers, here with two-step on a corner and the ball was underthrown. Now, you can ask many different quarterback um, experts out there. Would you rather underthrow or overthrow a deep ball? And quite a few of them would say, "Hey, I would prefer the underthrow because it at least gives your guy an opportunity to make a play." Um, Still, though, you would like to see KJ actually hit that ball in stride. And in the spring game, we actually did see an underthrow from KJ. But the bottom line is it doesn't matter how you cut his highlights, it doesn't matter how you look at it from any different angle. This guy has been, to me, the best quarterback in the SEC returning next year. And this is coming from someone who is a massive Jaden Daniels fan. So, as of right now, I would put KJ number one. I know my buddy Clark at SEC StatCat has KJ no longer number one. I think he actually moved him to number two. And obviously, in the background, this was really his only bad game all of last season, and it was when he was hurt, right? He was playing through quite a few injuries at this game, and he didn't even practice with Arkansas in the week leading up to this game. So, when I watch KJ on film, I just see a guy that carries his team. I see a guy that honestly is the most valuable player in the sport. Now, notice I said he's not the best player. That would be Caleb Williams or Harold Perkins. I could see that. And there's a few others. Marvin Harrison, you can definitely consider a better player than KJ Jefferson. But if he is not on this team last year, this team might be a 3-win team. But because he was on that team, he ended up making them a 7-win team and potentially an 8. Who knows how that LSU game would have played out if he actually would have played in that game. So, for me, I love me some KJ Jefferson. He is my SEC QB1, and I think Jaden Daniels is a close second. But there's just no player more valuable in college football. And honestly, this next year for KJ is going to be interesting to see if he will move himself up the all-time best Arkansas quarterback list. And look, a lot of you Razorback historians who know this team even better than me, you all probably have your opinion. If you're watching this live right now, type Y for yes, type in for no in the comments section. I'm looking at you. It doesn't matter where you're watching this from. If you're in Rogers, Arkansas, if you're in Timbuktu, do you believe at the end of this next year, KJ Jefferson will be ahead of the Brandon Allens, the Matt Jones, the Quinn Grovies, whoever you want to mention? Do you believe KJ is going to be that guy? And one final thing I'll say about KJ before we get into Kee'YON Stewart, the TCU defensive back that committed, and a few other news and notes. I appreciate the comment. First comment on the Power Hour SEC live stream. Appreciate you, Jesse. Jesse says yes. So there you go. One final thing I'll say, right? Look, I have ties to Arkansas. I know a few people on the team, so on and so on and so on. I do not know KJ Jefferson. There are quite, in particular, LSU fans that wonder why I love this guy so much. I just love players where things don't have to be perfect for you to succeed. And KJ Jefferson, things do not have to be perfect for him to succeed. One of my favorite things about him is he is one of the few put the team on your back type of quarterbacks that exist, right? You guys know exactly who those players are. They don't need every weapon in the arsenal for the offense to work. They don't need absolutely perfect blocking for the offense to get going. That's what I love about this man is he is a guy that things don't need to be perfect. And, I was actually at his first start, 2019 LSU. Here's a true freshman staring in the barrel of the best college football team of all time. And all he did was just, play tough. Now, he wasn't great in the game, but he had a pretty big throw to Traylon Burks down the field. I just love this guy. I just do. And this is coming from a non-Razorback fan. I love gritty guys. I like guys that aren't afraid to play through injury. So there you go. Turbo Nightmare. He says he loves the content. Hey, I appreciate you, man. And just for that, let's do the backwards hat, Turbo style. There you go. So, Turbo, any question you want to ask Arkansas football related, let me know. Okay. Now, I'll say this again. And I think a lot of YouTubers, once again, I'm very lucky to be a full-time YouTuber. I'm very lucky to get to do this all the time. All right. Mostly LSU stuff on the Power Hour LSU channel. But now with the SEC stuff, and it's because of people like you. I'm not one of the Razorback media goats. I'm not Evan Demeril. Andrew Hutchinson's one of my really good friends. Trey Biddy. I'm not any of those guys. But what I'll tell you is I'm going to be as objective as I can about this team, right? I had the good fortune a few weeks ago to actually meet Sam Pittman. My wife is an absolutely massive Arkansas Razorback fan, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I hope this team is able to live up to your wildest expectations outside of course, week 4 versus the Tigers. Okay, let's go to Michael Wilmouth. Look at Michael. He's got a dart. Is that a dartboard in the background? No, it's one of those clocks. My wife's parents actually have one of these things right here. Arkansas will be much better, especially if they get the tackle situation fixed. The defense should be much better. They should win at least 8 or 9 games, 10 with a bowl game. Okay, so let's talk about this as far as winning 8 or 9 games. So that was the initial title of this live stream. Over under 7.5 wins for Arkansas next year. You know, one thing I'll say about this, Michael, and Turbo and Jesse, if you have a question, feel free to ask away. Once again, our guests will be in here in just a second. One thing I do want to bring up about the 2022 schedule, and I don't know if you had a chance, Michael, to see the defensive film study on Travis Williams. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. He coached with, to me, one of the best college football coaches in the modern era, Gus Malzahn. So he's been around an SEC coach. He's been in the SEC. Really excited about him getting the opportunity to be a defensive coordinator. So, I do want to bring this up. Do I think it was time for Barry Odom to move on? Yes, because of 2 reasons. I'm lucky to know some coaches that have coached at a high level. And one thing that's really hard about Barry Odom's situation at Arkansas is he was overqualified to be the Arkansas defensive coordinator. He was not a bad head coach at Missouri. And while I like Eli Drinkowitz and what he's done, and I think Missouri can be a sneaky good team next year, Barry Odom was good at Missouri. He was good. He had to follow, one of the best coaches of the modern era in the SEC, Gary Pinkel, and he was fine. He was a 500-ish head coach, and Eli Drinkowitz has basically been that as well. I think Barry Odom, it was time for him to be a head coach again because he had been a good defensive coordinator for Arkansas. Now, before the pitchforks come out, I do think it was time to move on. Both parties involved. Obviously, Barry's defense regressed, but Arkansas's schedule last year, from a defensive standpoint, was the absolute hardest schedule I think I've ever seen in the SEC, in that there was not a week off. You guys did not play a weak offense. You did not play, honestly, a weak play caller. It was either, look at the non-Power 5 guys you played. You played Luke Fickell and that Cincinnati offense with Ben Bryant, really good offense. And then you played, obviously, Bobby Petrino, one of the best play callers. And then you played Liberty, whose coach is now in the SEC. So I think defensively, with all these new transfers you have coming in, yes, you lose Drew Sanders, who is a better football player than anybody you're going to have on the defense next year. But defense, if you look at really deep analytical breakdowns of defense, and this has been more so on the NFL level than compared to like the college level, defense has more to do with who you play than how good your defense actually is. So, what that means is if you're playing a great quarterback, your defense is going to suck. If you play a bunch of bad quarterbacks, your defense is going to look great. Arkansas didn't play many bad quarterbacks last year. And that's pretty crazy to think, considering you didn't have to play Tennessee last year. Even if that was the case, you honestly played one of the most brutal non-conference schedules I think I have ever seen an SEC team play. I would highly recommend you never schedule a home and home with BYU. Yeah, you won that game, but that BYU team was good. They were down because their defense sucked, but that offense is good. And now this year, you're going to get a weaker BYU team, and they're going to be coming to Fayetteville. So you have more winnable games next year, and that is huge. That is absolutely huge. And look, the SEC, I think, as a whole, and this isn't an Arkansas thing, this is just an everything thing. I think the SEC is going to take a little step back next year as far as team quality is concerned. Outside of LSU and maybe a few others, you can argue Vanderbilt, really. There's a lot of teams taking step backs this next year with them losing quarterbacks or them losing coaches and so on and so on and so on. I just think there will be some regression from some SEC teams. So I think that's going to be huge for you guys as well next year, Michael. I really appreciate the question. I really appreciate you hanging out with us on a glorious evening. Okay, let's take a look at this question and we'll get to our guest, Jacob, in just a second. Okay. And Jacob will inform you on some other sports as well, because I can't keep up with the must bus. It goes too fast for me. Just watching the spring game, the defense's communication you could verbally hear on the field is way different than last year. They're communicating really well and they look confident. Follow up here, and love the staff Pittman has recruited and think it is what the kids needed and it'll work out well. Barry is an awesome guy, but he is more of a head coach than a positions coach. I agree, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Barry's going to do out in Vegas. Now, I'm going to need somebody to show me some clap emojis in the chat, because obviously this guy has got thousands upon thousands upon thousands of followers, and I've watched him grind from the bottom to now being one of the best young media members in all of the natural state. I'm going to bring in a guy who knows way more about this team than probably anyone I know, especially, more than, the OGs that are out there. And he has written for so many different sites. My guy, your friend, Mr. Jacob Davis. Jacob,
hey man, how's it going?
look at you on the road taking care of
Dude,
the
I
family.
tell you, yeah, trying to take care of the family. My wife ended up getting sick. Work let out late, and so I'm doing everything on the fly today. But I'm glad to be on. Sorry, it doesn't look as professional as I would want it. But hey, at least we're in here.
I want to ask you, just based on what you've seen from the transfer portal lately, how do you feel about what Arkansas has added recently?
Offensively, I think they're going to be solid. I think, I know you have a bromance with KJ Jefferson, and you have Rocket Sanders already there. But you look at the receiver position. They brought in Tyrone Broden, a wide receiver, that arguably the tallest wide receiver in college football. He was at Bowling Green last year, and the previous couple of years before that. You bring up Andrew Armstrong, a guy that's 6'4", 215, out of Texas A&M Commerce, and then you've got Isaiah. It's Isaac T-Slaw. Makes highlight reel catches. He's a guy to keep an eye on as well. Offensively, the portal production's been great. Defensively, they got another guy today. The guy that was committed to Michigan State out of the transfer portal, he ends up flipping to Arkansas. He's a cornerback. Obviously, Arkansas needs help there in the secondary. And, Marcus Woodson, a guy that slides over from Florida State as the quarterbacks coach, now co-defensive coordinator, he's put in the work. And man, I'm really optimistic about what they can do, not just adding depth, but quality depth. Yes, Kee'YON Stewart is the guy. He had like 42 total tackles, I think, last season. I think he had a couple of interceptions. I was looking at it at the fly because I didn't even know he was visiting today. It caught me by surprise. So yeah, that was a big addition. And then they had another kid commit out of Butler Community College this past week. It's been busy.
Yeah, so we had a viewer earlier ask about the offensive line. How do you feel about that group after losing Ricky Stromberg?
What's that?
How do you feel about the offensive line going into next year?
So I think they're going to be stronger. I think they're going to be better than last season. If you noticed against Missouri, they were not very good. They were getting pushed around, beat up. That's not your typical Sam Pittman offensive line. And they put an emphasis. They fired the strength conditioning coach, said, hey, we're going to take it serious from here on out. And they hire a new strength conditioning coach, keep the offensive line coach, and they're going to make sure that on 3rd and short and 4th and inches that they have got the team together, offensive line together, to go out and do some things. This is pretty much the offensive line that he recruited. Marion Harris, the Little Rock product. He's probably going to get some run at guard, maybe right guard. Tykeus Crawford, who transferred in out of Charlotte, was a 4-star offensive lineman out of Texas back in the 2020 class. He slides over to right guard too, and then they have Joshua Braun, who was a offensive lineman from Florida that transferred in. They are looking at him at right guard as well. At left tackle, they've got a pretty good sized guy, Devin Manuel, 6'9", 310 pounds. They want to get him up to 325 pounds. When he came to campus, he was 6'9", 380. So obviously he has made a huge transformation with his body, a lot more muscled up. But I'm excited to see what he can be. Maybe more of a Dan Skipper kind of guy. They say he's really athletic, a guy that played 2 sports in high school. He played basketball as well. So obviously athletic, bends well, any kind of trait and attribute that you want out of an offensive lineman at left tackle, you get with Devin Manuel. He is a Louisiana product as well.
There you go. Shout out 504. Turbo wants to know about the safeties. I'm putting up this update from you. Quincy McAdoo. Sam Pittman feels pretty good about him being back as a corner next year. How do you feel about the secondary?
It hurts if he doesn't end up playing. He said he expects him to be healthy, but he doesn't know if he's going to return for the 2023 season.
Wow.
So hopefully we'll see him. I think that might have been misread, or maybe.
I misread it. That's my bad. Wow, that's crazy.
So he may not be back. Wow. He released on Instagram. I'm not going to go and try to do verbatim, but it seems like it's going to require some surgery, maybe a long-term health situation that he's going to have to get taken care of before he sees the field. But Sam Pittman seems pretty confident that he'll return as a Razorback, but it may not be 2023.
Wow.
But you do know they have Nudie on the other side. So they're not completely don't write them off yet at cornerback just yet.
That's crazy. Man, I loved watching him play last year. I mean, he put together some good games. And I hate that because, you and I were talking about privately. Like, I root for Arkansas guys that play for Arkansas. And it looked like he was really getting ready to turn the corner.
Oh, yeah. He was a true freshman last year. Hadn't played a lick of cornerback until Arkansas had like 6 or 7 guys. He was a wide receiver, converts to cornerback, and then plays the final 4 games and the bowl game at starting corner right away. Scores a touchdown and recovers like an onside kicker or blocks a kick in the first game against Liberty, which ended up being a loss for Arkansas. But he looked good and just kind of took the DB2 starting spot to, he made it his. And so he's going to be desperately missed. But, they did get LaRondo Snacks Johnson, a guy that really likes Cheetos. Hopefully he likes Cheetos as much as he likes the game of football.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. He's a Baylor transfer. I think he's going to be one that, even though you might be missing McAdoo, he's a guy that's going to come in and provide you the quality depth needed in case anybody does go down. And since McAdoo has gone down, he's going to be called upon a lot earlier than expected.
I'll go to basketball really quickly. This is a football channel, but I mean, do you think Caleb Love has any chance of that? Would be absolutely insane if he ended up at Arkansas.
I think Arkansas has got too much depth right now at guard. I don't think Caleb Love is going to be there. I know that Arkansas inquired about him when he came out of North Carolina. But from what I've heard, all the indications I've heard, it could be Indiana, Illinois, or Missouri. I know Missouri was after him really hard before he committed to Michigan. So I don't think Arkansas has anything going for him. But I do know that Ron Holland, the number 1 player in the country, could be. It's all wrapped up there.
Yeah, I don't keep up with Arkansas baseball pretty much at all. I like Dave Van Horn a lot. I saw this injury news today. I mean, do you think this team can still go to Omaha with everything all together?
Absolutely. Have you seen? Man, you say you don't keep up with them, but I do absolutely think that they keep on just plugging guys in. It's like no matter who Dave Van Horn puts out there, he gets the most out of these guys. And Peyton Holt, who is I think either a true freshman or true sophomore, he comes in relief of Peyton Stovall and just comes in and plays excellent. I mean, out of his mind, a guy that has had more pop to his pop with his bat than what Stovall did. But, man, he's elite. He is a very good second baseman, has elite stuff when it comes to charisma, a guy that I wish I could be because, I mean, he oozes with it. It's fun to watch. But, yeah, I think that, I mean, with all these guys just stepping up, I think this team, it's crazy to me that it would be the deepest team and the team that's riddled with injuries throughout the season, that this is the team that would make it to Omaha. That's just crazy to me. And maybe even win the College World Series. They're that deep. They're proving it week in and week out against top teams. And I just think that, whoever comes out of the SEC as a winner is going to go to the College World Series. I just think that's how it's been for the last few years.
Hog Country is where you can find them. You've written everywhere. Arkansas Fight. But the main reason I wanted to have you on is you're a proud 870, baby.
Yes, sir.
The end of time. The best area code ever created is the 870. But you're in Sheridan, man. I'm shocked that the service has been this good. Are you driving all the way down here to me? What's happening here?
No, so I live like almost to Whitehall, which if you don't know where that is, it's right outside Pine Bluff, and then you take 270, and there's a little old country road called Grant 75, and it goes into Prague, Arkansas. And I live out in the sticks on 4.5 acres, and a nice little old house with me and my wife and my baby. And, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Out in the sticks. Wait, do you have horses or anything like?
So my wife wants to buy a pony and put a few pigs out there, but I am not going to do it. I'm against it because I know they're not going to be the ones taking care of it. It would be me. Why me? So. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Turbo's in Sheridan himself. There you go. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. All countries where you can find them, and we'll talk to you soon, Jacob.
All right, buddy. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers, bud. Look at that. The yellow jacket. What's going on? That's funny. Look at this. I think Arkansas should run the wishbone some with KJ Jefferson. Hey, go back to the 64 offense, man. Make Jimmy Johnson proud. Let's go. No, it's funny. I freaking love everybody from the 870. Now, we all know the best county is Union County. You guys know that, right? You guys know that. And I'm just going to let you know, my favorite player on the Razorbacks is not KJ Jefferson. It is Cameron Bibby. Shout out the 870. Let's go. A few more things before I get out of here. But if you guys want to keep it going, feel free to super chat. I'll answer as many Razorback questions as we possibly can. I'm just testing this out. I don't know if you guys are actually even going to like live streams. But look, trial by fire, baby. There you go. I am mostly a live streamer. That's what I do most of the time. But I love doing film studies. I love doing breakdowns like that. Turbo, let me know. I'm going to let Turbo decide what type of video he likes. Do you guys love statistical breakdowns? Do you guys love film studies? Are there any other SEC teams that interest you? I don't mind doing team-specific live streams. But yeah, Arkansas, I would say probably, and just to give you an idea here. So I get analytics, and when I do a video, I did not think Arkansas videos were going to far outperform all the other videos. More than Georgia, more than Alabama. So I didn't know that going into it. But I used to do a radio show every day in Arkansas, sports radio show. And I loved it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I love Fayetteville too. I really do. I almost moved there. So there you go. The sticks is where it's at. That's it. Now, what I would like to say, and I'm a man of my word. I think it's a big thing. If I say I'm going to show up, do something, I'm going to give it my absolute best. So I said I'm going to be giving out a Traylon Burks card tonight. And I was just going to give it. I honestly thought we're only going to have 2 or 3 people because it's hard to start a live stream anything. But I am going to give this out tonight, and it is going to go to Turbo. Congratulations, Turbo. You're the first ever Power Hour SEC winner. You're getting a Traylon Burks rookie card. Congratulations. All you got to do, Turbo, is shoot me a message on Twitter or Instagram at Carter the Power. That's all you got to do, man. And you are going to get a Traylon Burks rookie card. There you go. Let's go to Michael. Second comment from Michael right there. All right. Arkansas would have been a great wishbone team because they are loaded at running back. KJ Jefferson is very good. Why not run the wishbone? Why not? I'll tell you this. So going back to a few things Jacob said, long live the live streams. Look at that. We got a super chat. Thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate you. Derek, one of my really good friends. And Derek is also a big supporter of Underdog Fantasy. Okay. UnderdogFantasy.com. I want to shout out all my friends at Underdog. They give me full creative freedom. All you got to do is sign up. Okay. So Underdog Fantasy, if you sign up and you use my promo code, you got to use my promo code. You're going to get to be in a fantasy football league with me. And guess what? You don't have to keep up with the team all year long. Underdog Fantasy is the ones that actually set your lineups for you. It's for the busy people out there. Sign up with Underdog Fantasy right now. Use the promo code. Okay. Promo code Carter. You got to type in the promo code Carter, though, because your boy gets a nice little kickback. But yeah, Turbo, shoot me a message, and I am going to send you this. I did want to get into a few things. I did a film study recently on Isaiah Satania not too long ago. This is going to be a big year for him. And there were a lot of teams there at the end, in particular LSU, that was very interested in him. So let's go to TPG, his first comment. I think our running backs behind Rocket are good as well to make up a top-tier running back room. AJ Green, Rashad Dubinion, Dominique Johnson. I love all of them. Okay. Very good comment. I love the Rolex too. You want to know a funny thing, TPG, before I answer this question? Derek, if you have another question, let me know. Funny story. A few years ago, I was doing my Arkansas radio show from SEC Media Days, and I don't know how it happened, but Calvin Ridley stopped by my booth, and I was like, "Hey, you want to jump on my show?" And he jumped on my show, and this was when he was with Alabama, so this was 5, 6, 7 years ago. This guy had the biggest golden watch I have ever seen. And I was like, God, dog, man, Bama had the NIL before NIL, baby. Let's go. There's a photo of us somewhere out there on the internet. But yeah, players love watches. They do. And I love this watch. I do. And you got the traffic behind you as well. It's good stuff. So, TPG, I don't know if you saw our running back film study. It is linked down below for anyone that saw it. Okay. Or anybody that wants to watch it. Now, this is what I think will, and look, there's a lot of Arkansas content creators out there. I'm going to give it to you straight, though, because I just always call it like it is. I want every player to live up to their dreams, okay? I will say this. There was a drop-off from Rocket Sanders to the other backs in the running back room. It showed up on tape, and it just showed up in statistics. So if you guys want to see the full film study, it is down below. Now, it's nothing against AJ Green or Dubinion, but one of the best things that happened to them last year was Rocket Sanders getting hurt in the bowl game, because both of those young men both rushed for over 100 yards in the bowl game. That is so good for their confidence. The issue is now, can they build off of that? I hope. I really do. I will say this as well. I think the young man coming from Naples is a very interesting prospect. I think he has got some real ability. I love his power. He's not the biggest burner, but he can run. And one statistic that I have always seen with SEC running backs, your weight matters. He is a load. So I think he's physically ready to play in the SEC. Now, his name slips my mind. You guys can, he's got a interesting, it's like Augustine or something like that. That kid can play. I think he could really play. And it would not shock me right off the jump if he is getting some playing time. Because it's there. It's there. I think Arkansas is going to let Dubinion and AJ Green decide who the RB2 is going to be. But I agree with you, TPG. I love me some Dominique Johnson. I am a stickler, TPG, when it comes to running back. I'm a stickler when it comes to running back weight. All right. Now, if any of my other Power Hour viewers from the LSU channel watched my live stream last night on the LSU channel, this is going to sound like a repeat from there, but I like thicker backs. I just do. And honestly, if you take Darren McFadden out of the equation, who was a unit, but he was leaner, most of Arkansas's best backs are thick. The Alex Collins was a brick. Jonathan Williams was a unit. Now Davis, Peyton Hillis, those guys are thick, right? even Raleigh Williams was built like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? And I just like thick backs. I just think it matters so much. It's simple physics. The SEC, they have the biggest, fastest, strongest defensive linemen and linebackers throughout the nation. It's just the truth. Go look at the data. If those guys meet you in the hole, there is a big difference if you are Dominion or if you are, a bigger back. So I think AJ Green and Dominion, they just aren't the same level of athlete as Rocket Sanders is. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play out. Now, I think speed-wise, they definitely have some burners. It's just going to be interesting to see if they break more tackles. They were amongst the SEC's lowest tackle breaking running backs all of last year. So I hope they take a next step. I want every SEC player, I want every college football player to become better, right? Because they all put in a lot of work. These are not criticisms. I'm just sharing what the data and the film say about these young gentlemen. And, Rocket Sanders was just amazing. He really was. I will say, though, one thing. Oh, yeah, Nile Davis. God, love me some Nile Davis. There he is, Augustive. Or it's what is it? It's not Augustive. It is Augustave. Augustave. Okay. But I think keep an eye out for him. Augustave. So let's go to Lawson right here. 6-6 floor, 9-3 ceiling for me for the Hogs. 9-3 ceiling. Can this be a 10-2 team? Let's just pull up the schedule really quickly. And I'm going to let you guys decide for yourself. Everybody, welcome Lawson to the channel. Show Lawson some love. Hey, every single one of you, I know you guys work hard and you just want to come chat some football. That's why I'm here. I'm here to chat ball, baby, all day, every day. So here's the Arkansas schedule for you. Obviously, the first 3 games should be wins. I think you get throttled by LSU week 4. I think LSU is going to be really good. And then you get this Texas A&M game. You guys know this game is always a coin flip. So let's just say you do win that game. You start the season 4-1, and you lost to a team that should be in the top 10 and should actually make the playoff this year. You get Alabama. That's always going to be a loss. Maybe, though, you get them this year. I don't know. Mississippi State, that's always an up-in-the-air game. You need KJ to be healthy for this one. And then, look, you get a bye week. And this is where Arkansas, who historically has gotten really bad schedule luck, and you guys know it. I mentioned this earlier in the live streams. You guys got screwed last year with the schedule. This year is one of the best schedules Arkansas has ever had. You draw Florida out of the SEC East. This is the worst Florida team in quite some time at a win total at 5.5. You get Auburn with the new coach. Florida International. I mean, these non-conference games are so much easier than last year's non-conference games. And then you get a revenge game in Missouri at home. I think right now this is an 8-4 team. I really do believe that. So I like Arkansas over the win total. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you watched the third ever video on Power Hour SEC last year, this is one of the proudest things I've ever done in my career. I got every win total correct that I actually said to play. And one of my favorite plays was the under win total for Arkansas last year. So I actually did like the under for them. Right now, I like the over. I'm leaning towards the over for Arkansas. Big weaknesses for me, though, I think the wide receiver room is going to be interesting. The Armstrong kid out of Commerce, you need that guy to really become the Matt Landers of this unit. None of those receivers are going to scare any SEC defensive backs like Matt Landers did towards the end of last year. And Landers was just so good, towards the back end of the season from the Auburn game all the way till the end. Now, I know the fumble versus Kansas kept them in the game, but still. Hey, no, I appreciate your love, Lawson. I'm just here. I'm just an SEC college football fan. Green looks fast and a lot larger. Debinion has a great hole hitter and pass catcher, light on his feet. Debinion also switched to number 7. I saw that. He's getting the Nile Davis number. I'm telling you. But yeah, I think this roster is okay. I do. I mean, there's a few pieces I wish they could have had for one more season. But, it's life. That's life. Now, type Y for yes, type in for no. Do you guys think Hudson Clark is going to start in the secondary next year? You're bringing in all these transfers. He won't start at corner, but do you think he will be the safety, one of the safeties to start week 1? Type Y for yes, type in for no. And once again, you guys are the experts. You guys are helping me learn more about the Arkansas Razorbacks. Give me the Hogs, Chuck. Hello, what's up, Scott? I like it, man. Scott, you pick the next topic. Go right on ahead, man. Augustave. Let me know, Turbo, if you're sending me a message on Twitter or Instagram for your Burks card. Think he's a starter. God. Y'all don't understand. Hudson Clark has heard it all. He had that one Ole Miss game in 2020 where he freaking looked like Patrick Peterson mixed with Champ Bailey, mixed with Dick Night Train Lane. And then since then, it's just been all downhill. Yeah, shoot me a message. Because if not, I'll give this card to somebody else. Second string. Jesse is done with the Hudson Clark experience. I get it. It's been some burn notice. But look, I think obviously the LSU A&M matchups are going to be brutal because their receivers are really good on both of their teams. There you go. Augustave. I just love that last thing. Augustave. That is such a great name. TLV, thanks for the super chat, man. You get to pick the next topic. Had a few super chatters tonight. Both PHL legends. Shout out to Derek and TOV. TPG. Hey, let me know where you guys are watching from. Turbo says he is in Sheridan. Scott, where are you? Michael, where are you? Let me know where you guys are from. I'm interested because on my LSU channel, quite a few people live in Alabama. Yes, that is crazy. There are so many LSU fans that live in Alabama. and they apparently all watch my channel. But like, for instance, the biggest Arkansas fan that I know lives and dies by the Razorbacks. He lives in DC, my boy Shark. So yeah, that's one thing, whenever you get into like the SEC, these brands are so big. You guys are scattered all over the place. In LR, I used to do a bunch of comedy in LR. The Joint in Argenta, man, that used to be my spot. They gave me my first ever stage time. Freaking loved it. One thing I'll share with you guys. So I used to stand on the sideline for a lot of SEC games. Camera guy, just, media and all that stuff. I know this seems like it's just common sense. I played high school football. I was decent. I wasn't great. A few of my teammates are actually watching. College football, especially SEC football, moves so fast. Everything is moving so fast. And Hudson Clark, yeah, and he's getting burned. He's getting burned by dudes that are playing on Sundays. I remember when one of LSU's third string receivers burned him in 2020. That guy ended up running 4.3, and he's still with the Titans. So, I mean, everybody's so good in the SEC. Everybody. So, understand if I say something, well, this guy doesn't break a tackle, or this stat says this about this guy. Trust me, it does not fall on deaf ears, right? All these guys are good, right? There's a reason why some succeed and play on Sundays, some get into insurance or medical sales or whatever. It's hard. SEC football is really, really freaking hard, right? I got an Ole Miss legend as my backdrop tonight. All the way in San Francisco. Mom Mel. Win Yellow Jacket 07. There you go. I like it. Jonesboro. You know what's funny, Scott? I have never been to Jonesboro. Never. Not once. Not once. A lot of friends in Arkansas State country. One final thing to let you know, and TOV, if you want to ask an SEC general question, this old vet, feel free. It could be about any SEC team. One thing it's very interesting. I'm a huge Gus Malzahn fan. I know that sounds so strange. I think Gus is really good, and that is what kind of excites me about Travis Williams, because look, if you coach with Gus Malzahn, you're just going to get better. The guy knows so much about football, and I have a lot of respect for him. I'm not an Auburn fan, furthest from being an Auburn fan. I guarantee it. Okay. But it is what it is. Yeah, we did play Jonesboro in soccer. Yeah, that was a tough game. But got the dub. So Cody is a big-time Traylon Burks fan. Very interesting. Did you see what he said today? He said this year he is going to be the best he's ever been because he is finally able to. It was something like, I'm breathing better. Because he had some medical stuff, before the Titans, before his Titans tenure began. When I look at Traylon Burks in that Titans offense, he's going to get a lot of opportunity. And I understand he doesn't have the best quarterback situation in the world with Tannehill and all those guys. But what I would say is he is going to get a healthy target share. And right now, you can draft Traylon Burks in the 7th round with me on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Carter, Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com. Okay? If you want to help support me and you want to play fantasy football where you don't have to set your lineups ever, all you do is draft, which is the fun part, UnderdogFantasy.com. But yeah, his asthma. Bot magnet. It's funny. This is the number one question I get asked at the end of every LSU live stream or just any SEC video, because sometimes I forget to say what's for dinner, right? Tonight, bot. I normally save it for the end, but since you asked, it is barbecue chicken night too. Okay. I'll be on the road soon, and I've got to lose some weight, y'all. I've got to lose some weight. Yes, I'm chunky. I'm proud to admit I'm chunky. Us chunky people need to stick together. Let's go to and I like it. I like it in Arkansas. Arkansans, I'm telling you, Arkansans call it supper. Arkansans do. I don't know why that's the case. Top 3 offensive lines in the SEC. That's a good question. So let's start with me, and I really appreciate your super chat again. Let's start with the clear number 1, okay? And Dennis Johnson ran me over, so I'd rather not talk about him. No, he was great. He was truly great. Yeah, so top 3 offensive, and I have no hatred towards Dennis Johnson. He had a great NFL career too. Way better NFL career than I thought. Top 3 offensive lines in the SEC. So let's start with the number 1. That's Georgia. Georgia's got the best offensive line in the SEC. And I'm not sure if it's close. They returned Rutledge. They returned Cedric Van Pran, who's the best center in the SEC. So I'm going to go Georgia number 1. And I think that's why they'll probably repeat at this point, because they're really good up front. Now, they'll have a new quarterback, but also depending on the offense you run, your tight end is kind of sort of an extension of your offensive line, and Georgia's got the best player in the SEC, and yeah, Brock Bowers. Okay, now, number 2, I am going to go LSU at number 2 here. They return both their tackles. They return essentially the middle of their offensive line. They got to replace Bradford, who was drafted, and they got a few 5-stars coming up. So I really like LSU's offensive line going into next year. Tackles are very good. Middle of the offensive line, we'll see how that works out. So I'm going to go Georgia 1, LSU number 2, and then number 3 is tough. I think the one thing, when you look at transfer portal data, when you look at J. Bud Davis, who's a Florida Gator, does a really good job of doing these very advanced studies, there are less offensive linemen in the portal than any other position, right? So it is hard to find offensive linemen in the portal. You got to recruit them out of high school. Number 3 would definitely not going to say Arkansas. I mean, it's just so hard to replace what Stromberg did last year. It was so good for them. I don't know. Number 3, that's tough. I mean, I want to say Tennessee because their system is the least offensive line dependent, because they get rid of the football so quickly and they do a good job of creating numbers. But they lose Darnell Wright, who very well could have been the best offensive player they had, period, last year. And that's really saying something. He was a really good football player for them. So, yeah, I'm going to let you guys decide who the number 3 offensive line is. But yeah, Dennis Johnson was great. Great kickoff returner, just great overall player. Out of Texarkana. What a ball player. Him and Bo Bingham, the Arkansas second baseman, were teammates. I remember that. Joe Adams, yeah, the Tennessee return, legendary. And then he got decapitated in Tiger Stadium. And I don't know how he got up from that. That was a tough dude. I think he's up there. Who would you guys say? I am curious what you guys have to say here. Who is the one Arkansas Razorback that shocked you the most when they did not succeed in the NFL? Who is it? Who is that one Arkansas Razorback? When you look back and you're like, what the heck? Okay. Joe Adams is definitely up there for me, right? Now, while you guys think of that answer, I want to shout out the South Ark Stars, baby. They're going to the College World Series at the JUCO level. This is one of my teammates, Cannon Lester. He's a coach of them. We were teammates way back when. And South Ark Stars, baby. That's crazy. The World Series. This is only the second year of their program. Greg Childs? Yeah, that's a good one. Greg Childs could really play. Jarius Wright? Yeah, I think a lot of us are going to think the Petrino receivers, right? But that also says like how good the Petrino system was. Like so many of those Petrino era guys did not pan out in the NFL. Greg Childs was a beast, though. One guy that I will go to the grave saying this. Okay. Yeah, I think Jarius Wright and Alex Collins. I would guess you would consider Alex Collins a pretty good success, considering how long he's been in the NFL. He's never really a dominant NFL player. This is a really good one. Jamal Anderson, the defensive lineman. I think he went 8th overall to the Falcons. Didn't work out. Let's see. I remember when Matt Jones came out. I wanted that to work so badly because that was just such a crazy pick when the Jaguars drafted him solely off the combine, right? Because, he was a quarterback. You didn't really know if he was going to be a good receiver. But yeah, Jarius Wright and Alex Collins, they stayed in the NFL a while. Now, were they ever dominant? No. Tyler Wilson. Not totally shocked by that. Not totally shocked. I think overall, Turbo, in my honest opinion, the quarterbacks' careers have gone about how I would have expected them to. And I'll go back to this. So I know a little bit about, Brandon Allen's backstory. I know a few people that know BA. I don't know BA that well. I've met him, I think, a few times. I think Brandon Allen is so underrated when it comes to all these modern era SEC quarterbacks. Now he's not in the Burrow Newton tier. He's not even close. And then, I'm not saying he should have been All-American or anything like that, but guy, he was good. And I think the one thing about BA that I really adored was there was not an SEC quarterback that loved playing for their school more than he did. Because, he was a Fayetteville guy. Razorbacks were his favorite thing on the planet. And all this guy had to deal with is the most hate I have ever seen an SEC starting quarterback ever receive. The hate was just so vitriolic, and it really was towards him in particular. Like, it was a little bit more hatred. I don't know exactly why that's the case. And all that guy did was turn out to be a stud, right? So yeah, I'm a huge BA fan. And then obviously the biggest story that I want to solve was the burn truck situation. I've got to know who did it. I think about that story all the time. So I won't say who this is, just to protect the anonymity of this person. But I'll say this. I'll save the details for another live stream cliffhanger for you. Yeah, Lawson. Look at Lawson. Dan Enos is back. I like that. There you go. I had to think about that for a second. But yeah, I just don't think, we all like to say we're mentally tough and all this stuff. I mean, to burn a man's truck, to torch a man's truck, that is just crazy. I've thought about that story so much. I just got to know, how much do you hate an individual to go burn his truck? Or was it an inside job? I'm kidding. I don't think it was. Actually, I know it. I know that there is a story I will share one day that lets me know it wasn't an inside job. Because there's people out there that thought, hey, maybe he did it on purpose. I don't know. But to burn a man's truck, you just don't do that. You just don't do that. And I'm somebody that doesn't have a car. I don't own a car. I would particularly feel that, because I was in the same situation Brandon Allen was in at that time. No truck at all. Now, yeah, actually, he might have gotten it worse, TPG, now that I think about it. He might have gotten it worse. Actually, you probably are right. But I don't know. Mitch got it bad. Mitch got it really bad. Ben Cleveland. That's so funny. God, that time was so crazy. Ben freaking Cleveland. What a time to be alive. Ooh, Scott. That's tough. That's tough. All right. Dan Enos better than Art Briles. Let's take a look at the poll question here. All of you are in agreement. For the most part, you're in agreement. Okay. Now, to get on y'all's side, the best thing for me to say would be, yeah, Dan Enos over Art Briles, of course, right? I think Dan's a good OC. I do. I think he's going to be rejuvenated to be back with Pitt and, be back in Arkansas, a place he's familiar with. Kendall Briles was really good at Arkansas, though. Now, I understand the red zone play calling was so bad at times, especially that Missouri game. And sometimes he would try and get too cute for his own good, right? And overthink a situation, okay? But, I'll leave you guys with this. Unless you guys have it, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to fire them in. I will say this. All right. One thing that really stood out to me when going back, when I started doing the Arkansas running back deep dive, okay, was how many holes were opened up by the play design, right? And yes, the offensive line was really good. Arkansas's offensive line was very good last year. And, it's typical. Sam Pittman, Cody Kennedy, those guys are back and they deserve a lot of credit. But the play design and sequencing last year for Arkansas was really good for the most part. And it opened up a lot of holes for Rocket Sanders. But I do agree, though. Actually, Scott, I'm going to agree with you. Being a coach is more than just who is the better play caller. It's the situation. And Art Briles was ready to move on. Dan Enos wanted to come back. I'll go Dan Enos or Art Briles. But I will say Art was really, I say Art, Kendall. Art, of course, is Dan. Kendall was really good. Now, what I will do is I will end this live stream tonight. I really appreciate it. I thought we were only going to have like 2 or 3 people in here. We were floating around 20. That's absolutely really cool stuff. Big thanks to Jacob Scott Davis for joining us. He'll be back on at some point. Now, let me take a look at so the next live stream will probably be May 31st. So I will be traveling next Wednesday night. So there will be no live stream on there, but I'll post some other Arkansas videos from then. Now, once again, I'm going to try and give out as much stuff as I possibly can on this channel. Big thanks to Turbo Nightmare. He was the winner of the Traylon Burks card. Tonight, we'll give out some more Traylons in my collection down the road, and maybe some other Arkansas players. Now, what I need you guys to do, did you guys like this live stream? Would you want to do it again on the 31st? Not this Wednesday, but the next. Let me know. I'm still going to post the content and all that good stuff. Also, let me know if you'd be interested in a general SEC live stream where I go into all the different teams. You guys let me know, right? And look, I do this because I love it. Even though my team is not necessarily your team, I've had friends that coached at Arkansas. I've friends that have played for Arkansas. They're still my friends to this day. I've got friends that are lucky enough to have played and coached at the SEC. So I do it because I like it. So you guys, this is all about you, right? Now, obviously, I do this to make money as well and feed my dog and all of that, but still, I appreciate you guys. All right. And for my guy, Bot, tonight, we're having some barbecue chicken. Let's go. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom. And tonight, barbecue chicken and some roasted vegetables. Now, the Cheez-It Puffs, they come in puff form. The Cheez-It Puffs, go get you some. They're fire. Let's freaking